Block 2, relationship of sociology with other social sciences. Unit 2, relationship of sociology with anthropology. Sociology and social anthropology are closely, related fields. There is a relation between them, often overlapping in areas of inquiry and methodology. While differences exist between the two, they are subtle and mainly reflect their historical development as distinct academic disciplines. John highlights, their close connection, stating that sociology is social anthropology's closest companion discipline, and that the two share many theoretical challenges. Both sociology and anthropology aim to study human societies, but each has unique emphasis and methods shaped by their respective traditions. Nature of sociology and social anthropology. Sociology, originating from the Latin socius, companion, and Greek logos, knowledge. Sociology was formally named by Auguste Comte in 1838. It is a scientific study of human societies, emphasizing collective human behavior and societal structures. Sociology often overlaps with disciplines like anthropology, psychology, and economics, reflecting its broad nature. Anthropology, derived from the Greek anthropos, man, and logos, study. Anthropology covers a wider scope than sociology, studying both human societies and culture dimensions. Branches include social cultural anthropology, physical anthropology, archaeological anthropology, and linguistic anthropology. Although historically linked with the study of small or primitive societies, today anthropologists explore both rural and urban communities, much like sociologists. Next is overlapping interests with modern trends. Historically, sociology focused on modern urban societies, while anthropology was associated with smaller rural communities. So, anthropology is associated with, small rural communities, while sociology focused on modern urban societies. The distinction has, faded as sociologists now study rural and, micro settings, while anthropologists examine urban and, complex societies. So anthropologists, study urban metropolitan societies, while sociologists study rural and micro means small. Microscope, where we see, small things by microscope. So sociologists now study rural and small settings, micro settings. This trend is, evident in studies conducted in developing countries, highlighting the increasing overlap between sociology and social anthropology, particularly in social and cultural anthropology. Next, we come on emergence and history of sociology. Sociology emerged in the 19th century as a distinct academic discipline, influenced by earlier philosophical reflections on society by thinkers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Cicero. Later philosophers, including Thomas Hobbes and Machiavelli, further developed ideas about society and the state. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, and the rise of, positivism marked the intellectual and social shifts that led to sociology's formal development. Auguste Comte is credited with founding sociology, viewing it as a science focused on systematic observation and classification of social phenomena. Other fundamental sociologists include Herbert Spencer. He developed the organic analogy of society, comparing society to a living organism. Next is Emile Durkheim applied scientific methodology to sociology with influential works like Rules of Sociological Method and Suicide. Next is Max Weber. He focused on understanding social action and its relation to societal structures. While key works like the Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. Then next is Karl Marx. He made significant contributions through his analysis of class struggles as seen in Das Kapital. Emergence and history of social anthropology. Introduction to anthropology. Anthropology is a broad field studying humanity and cultures across time, known as the holistic study of humankind. It combines natural sciences and humanities to understand humans' evolution and behavior under universal natural laws. The field's development has intertwined historical, philosophical, and scientific approaches, evolving into distinct branches like social, cultural, and physical anthropology. Emergence and history of social anthropology. Early roots and philosophical foundations. The origins of anthropology trace back to Greco-Roman times, notably with Herodotus in the 5th century before Christ, who is considered an early ethnographer. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle contributed ideas on human societies, later expanded by Roman thinkers such as Cicero In the 14th century, Ibn Khaldun offered insights on social phenomena, followed by European philosophers like Hobbes and Machiavelli, who explored society and governance. The enlightenment in the 18th century advanced these ideas with Rousseau, Montesquieu, and Locke laying the groundwork for social sciences, emphasizing society's universal historical patterns. 19th century developments, anthropology as a structured field emerged in two key phases. First phase 1725 to 1840. Second phase was 1840 to 1890. Early scholars separated the study of humans and society from history, aiming for a general science of society. Influenced by natural science traditions, they sought universal laws of social behavior. Second phase, 1840 to 1890, the natural sciences shift to dynamic models such as Darwin's evolutionary theory influenced anthropology. By the late 19th century, anthropology had distinct branches like physical anthropology, prehistory, and ethnology, and was recognized as an academic discipline. Modern anthropology in the 1920s, anthropologists Bronislaw Malinowski and A.R. Radcliffe Brown advanced the field with rigorous ethnographic fieldwork and theoretical insights, defining modern anthropology. Malinowski's Argonauts of the Western Pacific and Radcliffe Brown's The Andaman Islanders highlighted the importance of studying cultures through direct immersive observation. Similarities between sociology and social anthropology. Overlap between sociology and social anthropology. Sociology and social or cultural anthropology are closely related. They both are closely related, often overlapping in subject matter and methods. Social anthropology was initially considered a branch of sociology focused on primitive societies, while sociology studied civilized Western societies. Over time, both fields adopted similar qualitative and quantitative research methods, blurring distinctions between them. Key differences, despite their similarity, the fields differ in focus and methods. Scope. Sociology studies human societies broadly, while anthropology examines humanity, you see, more holistically, including physical and cultural aspects. Methodology. Sociology traditionally relies on quantitative data, while anthropology began with immersive qualitative fieldwork like participant observation. However, both fields now use mixed methods. Next is subject focus. Sociology traditionally analyzed Western industrialized societies, whereas anthropology focused on non-Western, small-scale societies. This distinction has faded as both fields now study a wide range of societies. So, social anthropology emerged as a distinct field through historical, philosophical, and scientific influences, gradually developing alongside sociology. Although initially separated by focus and methodology, they now share many methods and goals, underscoring the interconnected study of human societies and cultures. So, in this, we have studied, you see, nature of sociology and social anthropology. We have studied emergence and history of sociology. We have studied emergence and history of social anthropology. Then similarities between sociology and anthropology we have studied. Then difference between sociology and anthropology. Then you see we have seen the conclusion. Over a period of time, the differences in the use of research methods and techniques have changed as sociologists began to extensively employ qualitative methods, while anthropologists also began to profusely use quantitative methods along with qualitative methods. The distinction of sociology and anthropology was also due to historic development of the early exponents of the disciplines, particularly in the way they conducted their field works. So, conclusion is sociology, social anthropology emerged as a distinct field through historical, philosophical, and scientific influences, gradually developing alongside sociology. Although initially separated by focus and methodology, they now share many methods and goals, underscoring the interconnected study of human societies and cultures. Now we come on, Unit 3, relationship of sociology with psychology. Humans, beings as social, creatures, continuously seek to understand their relationships within society. This exploration has led to the development of disciplines such as sociology, psychology, and history within the social sciences. Sociology studies human society and social relationships, while psychology focuses on the individual mind and behavior. Sometimes we say, you have to consult a psychologist. So they had focused on individual mind and behavior. Together, these fields help us understand the complex socio-psychological phenomena that shape human interactions and identity. Definition and scope of sociology. Sociology, a term introduced by Auguste Comte, studies human relationships within society. It explores how individuals form relationships through interconnections, leading to the development of social groups and complex social structures. Sociological studies range from examining everyday interactions to analyzing entire societies. Foundational sociologists like Comte and Emile Durkheim framed sociology as both a static analysis of societal components and a dynamic study of how societies change over time. Now, definition and scope of psychology. Psychology, from the Greek words psyche, it means soul, and logos study, became an independent discipline in 1879 with Wilhelm Wundt's laboratory in Germany. Psychology is the systematic study of human behavior and cognitive processes, examining aspects such as perception, emotion, and cognition. Psychologists focus on the internal mental processes and influence individual behavior interactions in the social world. Many times we have seen that, you see, doctor says, allopathic doctor says that you consult a psychologist. You see, he will be more useful to you rather than me. The interrelation between sociology and psychology. Sociology and psychology are foundational to the social sciences, studying different aspects of human life. While sociology focuses on social systems like family and community, psychology centers on individual attitudes, behavior, and personality. Both fields intersect in areas such as, you see, group dynamics, where social structures influence individual behavior and vice versa. For instance, sociology and psychology both analyze group cohesion, conflict, and decision making process, but with different theoretical approaches. Social psychology, origins and development. Social psychology emerged from the 19th century efforts to apply scientific methods to human behavior. Auguste Comte proposed that careful observation could explain relationships in society and enable predictions about social behavior. Early social psychologists like George Mead and Charles Cooley examined how social conditions affect self-perception. In 1908, William McDowell and Edward A. Rose published foundational works establishing social psychology as a distinct field, defining social psychology. Social psychology explores the interface between individuals and their social environment, focusing on how social contexts shape thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It examines social interaction processes with scholars such as G.W. Allport, defining it as the study of individual behavior influenced by the presence of others. Barron and Byrne expanded this, defining social psychology as the scientific study of behavior in social situations. The interdisciplinary nature of social psychology. Social psychology combines insights from sociology and psychology, focusing on the individual's mind and social environment. It includes cognitive social psychology, which examines how information is processed, and sociological social psychology, which looks at group, mentally, and societal influences. This interdisciplinary approach helps explain how social experiences shape individual behavior and vice versa. Now, what is the scope of social psychology? Social psychology studies human behavior within social contexts, focusing on four major areas. The influence of one individual on another. You see, what is the influence of A on B? What is the influence of B on C? The impact of groups on individual members. Suppose some group is saying to one individual member, you see, how individuals affect the groups they belong to, how individuals, they affect the group. The relationship between different groups. So these are the four main areas. The influence of one individual on another. You see, what is the influence of A on B? The impact of groups on individual members. What the group is saying to an individual member, he should agree to whatever the group says. How do individuals affect the groups they belong to? The relationship between different groups. Social psychologists investigate topics like socialization, group dynamics, stereotypes, and life course changes across societal changes like childhood, adolescence, and old age. Cultural factors also play a key role in shaping individual thought and behavior, with diversity factors like gender, ethnicity, and religion influencing social psychology and studies today. Tools of social psychology are the sociological imagination, social norms and values, culture, roles and status, socialization. The sociological, imagination. The Rit Mills defined sociological imagination as the ability to see how individual lives are influenced by larger social forces such as family values, norms, history, and culture. This approach helps sociologists understand the connection between personal experiences and broader societal patterns, allowing for a deeper analysis of attributes, behaviors, and cultural influences on individuals. Social norms and values. Social norms are behavioral guidelines that regulate our behavior. It is associated with the rules of conduct which are ought to be followed by individuals. Values refer to, some deeply held ideas and beliefs. Values priority and values portray an ideal, the standard that society would like to embrace and live up to. Now, next is culture. Culture refers to the unique pattern of behavior and beliefs specific to a particular society. You will find this is not in our culture. Usually people are saying all societies have their own culture. The components of culture include symbols, language, values, beliefs, norms, and material artifacts. Culture is shared. Roles and status. Roles are, patterns of behavior that we recognize in each other that are representative of a person's social status. For example, while reading this text, you play the role of the student. Besides this, you have many other roles such as son, daughter, brother, sister, a neighbor, to name a few. The term status is used to describe these responsibilities, benefits, and prestige person experiences depending upon his or her. Socialization is the process through which begins at birth and is a continuous process when new born child acquires the social norms, behavior pattern, beliefs, standards, and values deemed significant and appropriate by his social group. Socialization serves many functions for the society. Most important one, to maintain the social order. Key concepts and methods in sociology for social psychology. Verstehen and qualitative research. Max Weber introduced Verstehen, meaning to understand deeply, emphasizing an insider's perspective on social process. This led to the development of qualitative methods. such as interviews and focus groups to understand human behavior in context. Social psychology adopts these methods to explore the influence of social environments on individual behavior. Key concepts and methods in sociology for social psychology. Second is middle range theory, developed by Robert K. Merton. Middle range theories offer focused explanations for specific social behaviors rather than attempting to explain society as a whole. In social psychology, these theories help understand group dynamics, aggression, and attitude changes by focusing on particular social interactions. Sociological perspectives in social psychology, symbolic interactionism. This perspective, developed by George Herbert Mead, focuses on how interactions create meaning. People use language and symbols to interpret their social word and activity, engage in shaping their environments. This theory is vital in social psychology to understand how individuals interpret social cues and interact with one another. Sociological perspectives in social psychology. Second one is social structure and personality. This perspective examines how societal structures such as economic and cultural systems influence individual behavior. For example, Karl Marx highlighted how economic structures shape social relations and individual thought processes. Sociological perspectives in social psychology. Third point is group process. Group dynamics are essential in social psychology to understand how individuals function within groups, such as families or co-workers. Co-workers means people working together. Families, you see, father, mother, son, daughter, great grandson, etc. Primary groups like family involve close relationships, while secondary groups like work teams have more formal and distant connections. Objectives of research in social psychology. Observation and description. Social psychologists aim to systematically observe and describe social behavior across different contexts to find reliable patterns, cause and effect. By analyzing the relationship between social changes like shifts in cultural values and behavior, researchers can uncover how these changes impact individual actions. Theory development. Social psychology seeks to develop theories that explain why individuals act as they do under specific conditions. Next is practical application. Insights from social psychology can be used to address societal issues such as improving attitudes toward education or promoting, you see, positive social interactions. Next is, you see, relationship of sociology with history. So in social relationship of sociology with psychology, we studied, you see, the interlink. We studied the definition of psychology. Then we study social psychology, historical development. Then we studied, you see, definition of social psychology. Then interdisciplinary approach to social psychology. Then we studied the sociological imagination, social norms and values. Then culture, roles and status. Then socialization. Then concepts and methods of sociology used in social psychology. Then we studied perspectives in sociology, sociological social psychology. Now, what is middle range theory? Middle range theory developed by Robert K. Merton is an approach to sociological theorizing aimed at integrating theory and empirical research. Then we studied, perspectives in sociological social psychology. Then we studied symbolic interactionism, social structure and personality. You see, then we studied, observation and discipline, cause and effect relationship. Then proposing new theory. Then we studied, application. So the importance of social psychology is shown in all the interactive aspects of the individual's social life and all the environments in which he coexists, which can affect the individual's interactions and personality. So this was about the relationship of sociology with psychology. Now we come on relationship of sociology with history. Sociology and history's interconnectedness. Sociology and history are closely related disciplines. Both so, disciplines, sociology studies society's current structure and functions, but it also considers historical context to understand social evolution. History provides insights into the conditions, changes, and developments that have shaped societies. Influential sociologists like Ibn Khaldun, Auguste Comte, Max Weber, and Karl Marx integrated historical perspectives to analyze social changes, structure, and dynamics, highlighting the significance of history in sociological studies. Now, how we define history? History is the study of past events, focusing on the causes and effects that derive societal changes. According to Malari, history has, two aspects. History as the record of past events, and second, history as a narrative about these events. Historians examine the social, cultural, political, and economic aspects of past societies to understand their development and provide identity and recognition to communities. History is essential for understanding societal roots and context. Relationship between sociology and history. Sociology and history are intertwined as both disciplines rely on each other for a comprehensive view of social reality. Sociologists use historical insights to analyze societal changes and developments, while historians often draw on sociological concepts to interpret past events. For instance, E.H. Carr argued that both fields benefit from an open two-way traffic relationship, encouraging productive research at their intersection. Social change, a core aspect of sociology, is better understood through historical context. History frames changes over time and provides sociologists with a basis for analyzing current issues. Sociological analysis, in turn, uses history to understand social issues in depth. John Seeley highlighted this connection, noting that history without sociology has no fruits and sociology without history has no roots. So, history without sociology has no fruits and sociology without history has no roots. Now, we come on examples of historical perspectives in sociology. Prominent sociologists have drawn heavily on, history in their work. Auguste Comte studied the historical development of society through stages of evolution. Karl Marx used historical materialism to analyze, social change. Max Weber examined the historical roots of rationality, capitalism, and secularization. Norbert Elias explored historical changes in social behaviors and state formation. Emergence of historical sociology, the overlapping interest of sociology and history gave rise to historical sociology, which studies social structures and developments within historical contexts. The analysis school, pioneered by Lucien Febvre and Marc Bloch, emphasized a broad interdisciplinary approach, heavily influenced by Durkheim's sociology. This school contributed significantly to social history and encouraged sociologists to consider historical influences in their analysis. Difference between sociology and history, despite their interconnectedness, sociology and history have distinct methods and focuses. Orientation: history focuses on past events within specific contexts. Sociology seeks to identify patterns and generalizations that apply across time and space. Difference between sociology and history: data and methods. Historians primarily use secondary sources to interpret unique historical events. Sociologists often rely on primary data, not the secondary data, primary data, and form hypotheses to classify and analyze, social phenomena. Approaches and goals: history is descriptive; it is in very much in detail, constructing a picture of social past. Sociology is abstract and theoretical, often aiming for broader generalizations that transcend specific context. Historical sociology as a sub-discipline. Historical sociology is a specialized field within sociology that bridges the gap between history and sociology, integrating historical context into the analysis of social issues. It helps us understand how societal elements have evolved, focusing on themes such as family dynamics, migration, and social institutions, among others. This field provides insight into how historical events shape modern society, addressing questions like how revolutions, imperialism, or industrialization have impacted contemporary social structures. Origins and key thinkers. Early sociologists such as Ibn Khaldun, Auguste Comte, Herbert Spencer, Max Weber, and Emile Durkheim incorporated historical insights into their work. Weber, for instance, examined the role of cities in economic development and the rise of modern nation states. In the 20th century, George Bellandier in France and Robert Nisbet in America emphasized the importance of history in sociology, advancing historical sociology as a recognized field. Major contributions: historical sociology became prominent as sociologists started to value both direct observations of the present and indirect insights from the past. Prominent figures like Jürgen Habermas analyzed the evolution of modern communication and rationality, while Manuel Castells explored the impact of information system on identities. Other scholars such as Samir Amin and Andre Gundere Frank challenged Eurocentric views of modernity, highlighting contributions from societies outside Europe and America. Core contributions to sociology: contextualizing social analysis. Historical sociology provides a framework to analyze sociological issues within their specific historical context, grounding research in time and place for a deeper understanding of contemporary developments. Broadening sociological focus, this field addresses historically rooted issues often overlooked by conventional sociology, like cultural change and everyday life, offering a more comprehensive view of society's development. So, we have studied, about in this chapter relationship of sociology with history. So we have seen history, sociology as sub-discipline. So history is the study of the past. You see what happened in the past, that that becomes the history, and we study that. Specifically the people, we study about the people, we study about the societies, we study about the events, and we study about the problems of the past. What were the problems of the past, about the events, about the societies, about the people, and our attempts to understand them. It is a pursuit common to all human societies. History can be a tremendous story, a rolling narrative filled with great personalities and tales of turmoil and triumph. Each passing generation adds its own chapters to our history, while reinterpreting and finding new things in those chapters already written. History gives us a sense of identity. By understanding where we have come from, we can better understand who we are, from where we have come. History provides a sense of context for our lives and our existence. It helps us to understand the way things are and ways that we might approach the future. Then we studied relationship of sociology with history. History is a branch of social science which deals with the records of past events. Sociology and history are much interrelated to each other. Historical, social process, and so forth in the past. It is also called social history. Sociology is the study of society, while history seeks to establish the sequence in which events occur in the past. So in sociology we study about society. In history we study events, which occurred in the past. Like historian sociologists are concerned with the relationship between events occurring more or less at the same time. In this context, history supplies the material for sociology as well as sociology gives the social background for the study of history. So Peter Worsley says the best history is in fact sociology or sociology of the past. The best history is sociology or sociology of the past. Sociology studies mainly contemporary events or recent past, while history studies the past events. So, sociology studies mainly contemporary events or recent past, while history studies, past events. What happened in such and such year, what happened in such and such year. History is concrete and sociology is abstract. History is concrete and sociology is abstract. According to Park, history is the concrete while sociology is the abstract science of human experiences and human nature. Sociologists are interested to find the general laws of the society, whereas the historians are interested to narrate these historical events in their chronicle order. Thus, sociologists would try to find out the common aspects of the events recorded by the historians. Thus, sociologists would try to find out the common aspects of the events recorded by the historians. E.H. Carr in 1967, who had written a book titled What is History?, argued for the more sociological history becomes and more historical sociology becomes, the better for both. The frontier between them should be kept open for two-way traffic. This proposition of transaction between the two disciplines to enrich the interdisciplinary and knowledge generation was advocated by many sociologists. History is a storehouse of records. It is a storehouse of records, a treasury of knowledge. It supplies materials, various social sciences, including sociology. History contains records even with regard to social matters. It contains information about the different stages of human life. It contains information about different stages of human life, modes of living, customs and manners, social institutions, etc. This information about the past is of great help to a sociologist. A sociologist has to make use of the historical records. For example, if he wants to study marriage and family as social institutions, he must study their historical development also. Similarly, if he wants to know the impact of Islamic culture on the Hindu culture, he has to refer to the Muslim conquest of India, for which he has to depend on history. A sociologist is no doubt concerned with the present day society. A sociologist is no doubt concerned with the present day society. But the present day society can be better understood from the knowledge of its past, because what people are today is because of what they had been in the past. Further, sociologists often make use of comparative method in their studies, for which they depend on history for data. Historical sociology, one of the fields of sociological inquiry, depends very much on historical data. It is true that sociologist must sometimes be his own historian, amassing information from all the available sources. Historian also uses sociology. Until recently, it was perhaps from philosophy that the historian took his clues to important problems and historical, concepts and ideas. But now these are drawn increasingly from sociology. Indeed, we can see that modern historiography and modern sociology have both been influenced in similar ways by philosophy of history. Further, sociology provides the social background for the study of history. History is now being studied and read from the sociological point of view. It is said that history would be meaningless without the appreciation of socially significant events. So, students, we are closing the session. Thank you very much, students. Thank you.